Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you the whole process of onboarding Headend devices in Cisco SD-WAN. And we are talking about Viptela actually, which is now acquired by Cisco, and I'm going to show you how you can start vManage and configure it, and after that add the other controllers, which we are going to be vSmart, which we call it controller, and the vBond, which we call it validator nowadays. So let me show you the whole process, and the topology of course is going to be super simple. What I am going to have in my topology is I'm going to have, let me just use my pen here, I'm going to have something like vManage in here, and then vSmart, which is going to be this one, and vBond, which is going to be this one. All of them are connected to a switch. This switch of course is going to be switch 1, which is going to be on VPN 0 side. And in case you don't know what VPN 0 is, that's going to be the transport for the whole network. And as a matter of fact, this is connected to every type of transport that you have, such as, let's say, MPLS network, public internet network, LTE, satellite, anything that you have. And also I can have something like a management network up here, which we show it using cloud, but this management network of course could be connected to almost every devices. In my topology, the only device which has an interface for management network is going to be this vManage. You should know that for the interfaces on vManage, I have this EAT0 here and EAT1 here. This is very important when we are doing this. For vSmart, this is going to be EAT1. For vBond, this is going to be GE0/0. So we are going to use these interfaces during our configuration. So this is very important because we are going to do the right configuration. Otherwise, there is not going to be a functional headend configuration for our network. So the first thing that I need to do is going to be configuring the certificate server. Certificate is going to be one of the essential parts of configuration of our network. So I'm going to start doing this right here. So on this Windows server, I don't have any roles installed. As you can see, server manager is on. And on the left you don't see certificate service, so I'm going to have the certificate service installed on this device. That's not going to take so long, so what I'm going to do is to go through adding the roles and features, and I'm not going to configure this on a domain controller because right now this is going to be a standalone server which we have for our network. So I just selected that certificate service and I'm going to just click on next and next. This part of the configuration is just adding the binaries, so you don't need to be worried about clicking on all of these because you might want to have these features enabled later. And that's just going to unpack the binaries necessary for this. So I'm going to click on this install button, and that is going to start installation of certificate service. Now, in reality, of course, what we have in our enterprise is going to be a root certificate authority. That's going to be a virtual machine that you configure as a standalone server, and that is not going to be connected to your, it's not going to be joined to your enterprise. And you receive a certificate from one of the certificate authorities on the internet, such as DigiCert, for example, or VeriSign, or any other certificate authority on the internet. You're going to install that certificate on this virtual machine, which has certificate service installed on that. Then there are going to be some more certificate servers in your network which are joined to the domain, of course, but they are going to be subordinate server to this server that we have created. Those subordinate servers are going to receive a certificate from this root CA in your network, and then they are going to issue certificates for the rest of the network, or they may have some subordinate servers of their own, and they are going to issue the certificates for them. Now, the important thing to know is the root CA is not going to be on for a long time. After you have issued certificates for subordinate server, what you're going to do is to back up this and turn it off and keep it in a safe place. What I mean is in a safe, of course, storage. in your network. And after that, whenever you need to issue certificate for some new subordinate server, you're going to turn this on, issue the certificate, and after that, you're going to turn it off. So that is what happens in a real production network. But in our case, of course, I have a standalone server, which is right now being configured. And after that, this is going to issue the certificate for the devices directly. And after that, of course, I'm going to turn this off because I'm not going to need it anymore. So this is the process of installation of the binaries, which is just finished. I'm going to close this. And now on the left, you can see that ADCS is appearing. What I'm doing here, it is very much similar from Windows Server 2012, which I'm using for the sake of, simplicity in my network, but this is exactly the same process on 2016 and 2019 and 2022. So I clicked on this. On the right, you can see that it says configuration required. So I'm going to click on this more button, and on here on configure Active Directory Certificate Service. This is going to ask you for credentials. You can just add any credentials in your network, but I'm going to use the administrator because, like I said, this is not a production network. This is just a lab. I'm going to click on next, and then from these, I'm going to select the first one and the second one. These two are going to be important for me. But you can, of course, select online responder in case, for example, you are going to respond to certification revocation, let's say, status or stuff like that. I don't have this in my network, and I'm not going to have any of the others installed here. So I'm going to click on this. Because this is not joined to a domain, you can see that Enterprise CA is kind of dimmed, and I have standalone CA available, which is okay for my case. This is going to be the root CA, so I'm going to click on next, and this is going to create a new private key. So I'm going to click on next, and as you can see, I'm not using the existing private key because I have not received anything from a CA. This is going to be a CA in itself. And of course, the certificate might not be trusted with a lot of devices, but you can add the certificate to those devices, and they are going to start accepting the certificates issued by this CA. So I'm going to click on next, and 2048, that's okay. You can just select a better one, for example, SHA-5 12. You can go up to 4096, which in this case 2048 is going to be okay. And then here you're going to choose a name for that. Let's say that the company that I am running is called Alex, and I'm going to say this is called Alex TA, and I can just go with the distinguished name suffix, but that's okay. So I'm going to click on next. The validity can be reduced or increased, and then next, where you are going to install the certificate database. That's next, and then this is going to start configuring. The configuration is not going to take so long. As you can see, it is super fast, and I'm going to click on close. And it says, do you want to configure additional role services? No, I don't. Now, what I have done is this. First of all, I need to have an IP address configured on this so that I can reach to this. So what I'm going to do is to go to Network Connections by right-clicking on the Start menu. And then I'm going to start configuring an IP address on here. So let's say that this is going to be 192.168.100.201 with 24-bit subnet mask, and that's going to have 192.168.102 as the default gateway. And of course, I can select another default gateway, for example, the switch that I have in my network, which is gonna be okay. And let's say that for now that's okay. I'm going to click on OK and OK, which means that if I try to open a new tab to connect to this, and I'm going to just close this one, and then type 192.168.100 201, here of course it's 1100, and then /cert srv, that's going to open the certificate service on my server. Now, the first thing that I need to have is going to request a certificate from the CA, which we are going to do it after I did some configuration on the devices themselves. Okay, now you can see that I have opened vManager, vSmart, vBond. All of them are ready to log on. Before you see system ready, if you try to log in, your configuration is not going to be accepted. Your credentials are not going to be accepted. So make sure that you see system ready first, and after that you go with the default username and password, because this is the first time running this, and the default username and password in my case is admin. And for the password, I'm going to select admin again. So it says, because this is the first time that you are starting this, what is the persona that you are going to use? I'm going to go with compute and data because I'm not sure whether I need compute or data. I'm going to have both of them. So I select option 1 and hit enter and press Y. And then the second one says, what is the disk that you're going to use? This is disk VDB, which has 100 gigabytes of storage, and this means that this is option number 1. And I'm going to hit enter. So that's going to be, again, fast. Let's do something on vSmart and vBond in the meantime. Here I'm going to say the username is admin, password is admin, and I'm going to have admin again as password, but you should go with a very hard to guess password. And also on the vBond, of course, I'm going to do the same thing. So admin, and admin for the password one more time. Okay, so let's start from vBond because this is an essential device in here. What I'm going to do is to configure vBond in here. There are some configuration important here, which we are going to do it. Under system section, what I'm going to have is a system IP, which is going to be kind of a loopback interface IP address in here. So, and of course it doesn't have to be routable. You can just put anything in here. That's going to be an ID like router ID. That's better convention, as I say. Router ID that you're going to configure for this. Let's say this is going to be 10113. So that could be any number. And then I'm going to have organization name, which is in my case alex.org. And this is important because whatever you are going to download from your whatever provisioning file that you're going to download from a Cisco website, it should have the same organization name in this. The site ID, in my case, this is going to be number 1, and also the vBond IP address. In my case, of course, this is going to be vBond itself. And I am using DNS server in my network, which I have registered this vBond with that. So I'm going to go and say that this is going to be my vBond. And why am I using DNS, a fully qualified domain name, instead of an IP address in this case? Because I am going to say that I might have multiple vBonds, and I'm going to use something like a round robin on my DNS server to point to different vBonds, or in some cases, of course, the nearest vBond physically, of course, or geographically is going to be used for validation of an edge device. And because this is going to be the vBond itself, I'm going to say local. You don't have to say local on others because they are not going to be vBond. This is going to be vBond actually. And also I'm going to say host name. In this case, it's going to be vBond -1, or better, one is going to be V with capital B, vBond -1. Okay, so something else that I'm going to have in my network, I have an NTP server. You know, having an NTP server is not necessary in your network, but most of the networks, of course, use NTP server or even PTP server, which is Precision Time Protocol. So using an NTP server is going to be essential whenever you are installing some certificates, so it is better option to go with that. So I'm going to say NTP server is going to be the name or the IP address of the NTP server. In my case, ntp.alex.org. And under that, I have to say this is going to be available through VPN 0. So this part is going to be done. So I'm going to say commit for this part. And whatever configuration that I have here, I can use this with some changes on other devices as well. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to open Notepad. Then I am going to put this configuration in that, and I'm going to, change this a little bit for the other devices. But let's go back to here and just to start configuring the IP addresses. In my case, I don't have a management interface. That's not going to be the case. So I have a GE00, which is going to be for VPN 0, and I'm going to configure that. So let's go and exit this, and exit system. I'm going to say VPN 0. I'm just configuring VPN 0. Under VPN 0, first of all, let's say do show run VPN 0. And I always do that because I just want to make sure that the correct interface is set under VPN 0. Otherwise, I have to remove that interface and change it to the correct one. In here, the correct interface is specified. Tunnel interface, for now, it's going to be removed later after installation of the certificate. I'm going to start the tunnel because after that, IPsec is going to be enabled for me. One other thing that I have here, because I have used fully qualified domain names, in my case, for example, NTP or vBond, I have to tell the DNS server IP address. So, and also I need a default route as well in my case. So what I'm going to say is DNS is going to be 1111, which is the IP address of the DNS in my network. And also I'm going to have a default route, which is going to be 0000/0, which points to 201.1.254. And hit enter. So let me see if this is available. So if I just say do ping this, and if I do not specify the VPN, you can see that VPN 0 is going to be selected for that. You can see that for some reason I cannot really reach to that. And the obvious reason is I have not configured any IP address for this interface. That's it. So anyway, I just configured the default route. So I'm going to say interface GE0/0. And for this, I'm going to say no tunnel interface for now because I'm not going to have it. And I'm going to have an IP address is going to be 201.1.3/24. And that's the almost whole interface configuration that I want to have, except I need to say no shot. Also, it already been no shot, but anyway. I need to say commit. Now if I just try to ping 201.1.254, it is possible. And like I said, whenever you do not specify the VPN, VPN 0 is going to be the default VPN for you. And also I'm going to say ping ntp.lx.org just to make sure that I have DNS server configured correctly, which in this case, of course, I have. Okay, so that's the configuration of vBond. Like I said, I'm going to select the same configuration with a little bit changes. Here, that's going to be 2. Organization name is the same. vBond is here, but this is not local vBond. Host name is going to be vSmart. Smart. And this part of the configuration is going to be used for vSmart. So I need to go to configuration mode, and I'm going to add this configuration. Oh, of course, I needed to say system. Exit. System. And then paste the configuration. I'm going to say commit for this part. To show run VPN 0. You can see that it says Ethernet 0 in here, but my interface is Ethernet 1, so I need to remove this. So I would say exit, 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 VPN 0, no interface ETH 0, but interface is going to be ETH 1. No shot. IP address is going to be 201.1.2/24. And also I need to say IP route is going to be 0000/0, which goes to 201.1.254. And also DNS is going to be 1111. So let's commit this part. And if I just say do ping ntp.lx.org, it's working just fine. But let's go for the giant in here, the vManager. So you can see that it says system ready. I can just start it. But the configuration on this is going to be a little more complicated. So I'm going to say admin. It's going to ask for the username and the new password, which it of course didn't. So let's go for the first part of the configuration, which is going to be 10.1.1.1. And this name is vManager-1. So I'm going to copy this. Go to configure terminal. Go to system. Paste this configuration. Exit. Do show run VPN 0. Here the wrong interface is configured, so I'm going to change it. VPN 0. No interface ETH 0. Interface ETH 1. IP address is going to be 201.1.1/24. No shot. IP route 0000/0, which goes to here. DNS is 1111, which is configured. Now I'm going to say VPN 512 because I told you that vManager is the only device that I have configured with the management interface. Interface should be ETH0, so ETH0 was removed from VPN 0 and now it is being added to VPN 512. IP address is going to be 192.168.100, let's say 211/24, and no shot. And I need to have a default route here which goes to 192.168.102. So I would say 0000/0 that goes to here. This is a default route for the management interface. So I'm going to say commit, of course double M, not more than that. Okay, and hopefully there's no error in this case. And like I said, this is going to take a little longer than the others. And after that, I need to wait for the web service for this vManager to come up. Come on, be faster. We don't have that much time in here. So I'm still waiting for this to complete the commit. And after that, I'm gonna go for the checking, of course, validation of network connectivity, and I want to open the GUI to vManager, and then continue the configuration of this in here. And if I just go up, yes, everything seems to be correctly configured. All I need is just wait and wait and wait. While we are waiting for this, let's do something. I'm going to go to my server. My server, what I'm going to do is to configure TFTP service, which I have already installed it. And I'm going to make some changes to the settings, and after that create a folder for that, and I'm going to put the root certificate in there so that I can receive it through other devices. So if I just go to settings here, I need to go to this part that says bind TFTP to this address, and I'm using Solaris TFTP service, which is free and very effective, of course. I'm going to select this IP address which I have set on that, and then I'm going to click on let's say that TFTP security is going to be none. I'm going to make these changes, and if I just go to global, I'm going to remove this TFTP service which I don't really want it. I'm going to click on OK. It says I should restart this, so I need to close this one and open it one more time. And also, it says that the TFTP folder is here, but I'm going to make some changes. So I'm going to say browse, go to drive C, let's say, and in here I'm going to make a new folder and I'm going to call it shares. And then I'm going to select that one. Okay, so anything that I put in here is going to be in the root of the TFTP for me. And later I'm going to see some logs in this. So let's just open certsrev from here, from inside, so that I can receive the root certificate. So I'm going to say local host /cert srv, and I'm going to say download CA certificate, select base64, and download CA certificate. I'm going to select this, showing folder, rename it. I'm going to say rename to root _ca.ser. I'm going to select it, move it to drive C folder shares. Okay, great. This is now here. I can just download it from my certificate servers. Going back to here, you can see that the commit is still in process, and for some reason this is taking longer than I expected. If I just say Control C, what is going to happen? Nothing. So I have to wait for this to complete. Okay, seems that our configuration was not committed completely. Let's see what we have. Show run. So the system part, this part is almost complete. Going down, NTP is configured, and also vbond is configured as well here. Going down under VPN 0, we have DNS configured. This interface ETH1 with an IP address of 200.111 is configured. Also, IP route is set in VPN 0. For VPN 512, the correct interface is set, and there is an IP route configured in here. So if I say do ping 200.112, ping 200.112 3 254. These are available. So if I say ping 1111, this is not available for some reason. Is it available on other devices? It should be, of course. If I say ping 111, this is possible. So for some reason this is not responding. Let me see what the problem might be. It might be something like, I don't know, VPN 0, interface ETH1, shut, commit, no shut, commit, to ping 1111. This is network is unreachable. So let's say that I'm gonna say to show run VPN 0, and for some reason this is not working. I'm going to say no IP route. I'm going to say commit, but I'm going to say IP route and I'm going to say commit and do show run VPN 0. Seems good, but okay, now it is working. So maybe sometimes there are errors in committing, and that was the problem that we had in here. So what we have done so far is we have just done some basic configuration of vManage, vSmart, and vBond in our network. The next part is going to be installing the certificates on here. vManager is connected to the to the management network, so I can just receive the certificate from there. So for that, on vManager, I'm going to say copy, not copy, of course, request execute, and under request execute, you can say which VPN you are going to use the command under that. I'm using VPN 512, which is going to be my management network. And after that, whatever command you want to have, you can just type it after this. Now, the type of the command that we have here is called, what was the name of that? BusyBox. So you need to just try to find the FTP service, which is called BusyBox under Linux, and the commands are supported with that because vManage is based on that. And for BusyBox, you're going to say tftp. This is a command, so whatever that you want to, you need to type after this request execute VPN 512. From here, the actual command is going to start. So it says tftp -get -remote, and the file name is root_ca.cr. And what is the server name? Is server IP address 192.168.100.201. So I'm going to bring the server to front, and as soon as I hit enter, you can just go to server, and you can see the message here that says this is 100% progress, and which means that we have just received the certificate. So if I just say show, or let's say dir, not dir, of course, let's go to vshell, that's better, vshell, and then say ls, you can see that the root CA is here. For the rest of them, I can just do something simple because they are not connected to the management network. I cannot really use that command on them. But I'm going to say, what is the content of root_ca.cr? This is it. I can just copy it. Then I go to here, I'm going to say vshell, and I'm going to say cat into a file with the name of root_ca.cr, or whatever name that you want to have. Then I'm going to paste this content, hit enter, Control D like David, and then exit here. The same thing I'm going to do on vBond. So I'm going to say end vshell, and under vshell I'm going to say cat into whatever name that you want to have, paste the content, Control David, and exit. Okay, so we have done this part, and now I'm going to say the next request. So I'm going to say exit. I'm going to say request root search chain install, and that's going to be under home. We are logged in as admin. The name of the file is root_ca.cr. That's it. I need to execute the same thing on the other devices as well. And then go to vBond and do the same thing. Okay, let's go back to our browser. So I'm going to keep this open because I need it. But here I'm gonna open 192.168.100.211, which is my what is it? My vManager. And it should be opened using HTTPS, and then this is going to take me to this page. It says there is an error with the certificate that you have installed on that. Like I said, because we have not installed a certificate which you have received from valid CA. So I'm going to click on advanced. I have to say is continue to this. On other browsers, there is the same thing. I have reached to this page. This is going to, open after something like 15 or 20 minutes after vManage is up and running. But anyway, I am here. So I'm going to say admin. Then I'm going to say admin for the password. It's going to ask me to change the password. So let's say I'm going to say admin. Let's say the better password is going to be Cisco123. Let's say. I'm going to say with Cisco123. Okay, so the password now has changed. Now I need to log in again. admin Cisco 123. For me, of course, you need to go with a better password. And then here we are going to add the vBond and vManager to our GUI. For that, I need to go to Menu, Configuration, Devices. And you can see that we have Manage Devices and Controller Devices. In my case, I need to go to Controller Devices. vManage knows itself, but it doesn't know vSmart and vBond. So I'm going to go to Add Controller, go to vBond. That was 200.113. The username for that was admin, password was admin. You can keep this checked or you can remove the check, doesn't matter at all, because we can just generate CSR later or we can just generate it right now. Whatever that you want to. But the most important part is reachability to this must be guaranteed. And we pinged and it was reachable. So if I click on add, nothing is going to go wrong. And one of the things that you need to make sure is the tunnel interface should be off, because like I said, we don't have any IPsec right now. So this is added. Then go to vSmart. That was 200.112. Username was admin. Password was admin. And again, you can select the protocol to be dynamic TLS or normal TLS. Dynamic TLS is going to be more lightweight, so I'm going to keep this. Generate CSR, you can check it or not. I'm going to click on add. Okay, this part is done. Now I need to do something before I enable the certificates on this. Let's go to here to administration settings. And the certificate that we had copied, I'm going to add it here. So you can see that although I have done some manual configuration on the CLI, GUI does not read that. There are 2 or 3 configurations right now important for me. So I'm going to click on organization name, edit. Then the organization name is alex.org. alex.org. Save it. vBond, I'm going to use the IP address or the name, vbond.alex.org. That is what I'm going to have. The port number is going to be the default port number, so click on save. And this one, controller certificate authorization is going to be important for me. I'm going to save this as enterprise root certificate, and I'm going to paste the certificate in here, or let's go back to here one more time, copy it. Okay. And important save. The rest of these configuration for now, they are not going to be important. We are talking about controller right now, so I'm using this certificate. For hardware, of course, you can see it says unbox. I can just click on edit. I could say enterprise certificate, but that's okay. No, it doesn't matter for now. And let's go back to devices now. I'm going to go to tools, not to tools, yes, to configuration, devices, controller. Let's go to certificates, of course. Configuration certificates and controller. These two are very much similar to each other. So I'm going to use these CSRs that I have generated, or if I have not, I can just click on this generate CSR. That's going to generate the CSR for you. You're going to copy this, go to your certificate service, request a certificate. Advanced, I'm going to paste it here. So I'm going to say submit. I'm going to do the same thing for the 2 other devices. Generate CSR, like I said, you can just generate it right here. Go back, just paste it here for the second one, submit. And also the last one, generate CSR, copy the content, go to here, go back. I'm going to paste it here. So I just submitted 3 different requests here. Let's go to server. On my server, I'm going to go to server manager, go to tools, certificate authority. There must be 3 pending requests in here. So if this was joined to a domain, then you wouldn't need to do this because automatically it would receive the certificates. But here I need to go to pending request and issue the certificates. So I'm going to select all of them and I'm going to right click and say all tasks issue. Okay, the certificates are issued. Let's go back to the browser. I'm going to go back. Here, view the status of pending certificate requests. You can see that there are 3 certificates in here. I'm going to download them one by one. So I select base64, click on download certificate. That's going to save as, and I'm going to put it in drive D. Let's just delete this and this. I'm going to delete these. So this is going to be whatever number that you have it here. Okay, I'm going to put it here. And it says that, do you want to keep it anyway? Yes, of course I want to keep it. And then go back to the second one. Base64, download certificate, save as. This one is going to be cert new. Keep it. And back, the last one, base64, download certificate, save as whatever number or whatever name. Let's say, for example, this one is going to be cert new 2 because I need these two, and keep it. Okay, now that I have done this, let's go to Cisco vManage, and I'm going to still in configuration certificates. I'm going to click on this install certificate button, and I'm going to select those files one by one. They are under drive D, and from all files I'm going to say this one. It's going to understand which device this belongs to. You can see that you don't have to specify anything. Here it said this is for vSmart. If I refresh that, after some time it's going to say in progress, and then you need to see success like this. Go back to configuration certificates and controllers, install certificate, select the next one, which is gonna be whichever that you want to. Click on install. It understands that this is for vBond. And while this is installing, let's go for the last one. Controllers, install, select file, and all files, of course, and this one. Click on install. So now these are going to be completed, and when I'm done I have just one step more that I need to take. So I just wait for the success message, go back to configuration certificates. On controllers tab I should see that all of them have a certificate, as you can see here. Now the last step is here. I need to go to each one of these and I'm going to enable the tunnel interface. So on vManager, I need to go to configuration mode, VPN 0, interface was EAT1, and I'm going to say tunnel interface. And also, I need to allow some services. Some of the services are by default allowed, such as DNS, but NTP is not. So I'm going to say allow service NTP. And I'm going to say commit and quit. The same commands go on vSmart. Configure terminal, VPN 0, and interface EAT1, tunnel interface, allow service NTP. Commit and quit. For vBond, this is going to be a little more complicated. Configure terminal, VPN 0. For the interface, it was GE0/0. Tunnel interface. I need to specify encapsulation in this case. That would be IPsec. I can specify color or just leave it like that. Let's say that color is MPLS. And also allow service NTP. Then I'm going to say commit and quit. If you have any problem, then remove this color, but it should be okay. So going back to here, you can see that after some time everything is going to be known for you, and you can see that this happened. All of them now have system IP in here, site ID, and everything is updated. I can even go to devices and just see that under controllers, all of them are in sync. And for the last verification step, I need to go to dashboard, main dashboard, and then I should see that one vBond and one vManage are known in here. Controllers are up, and everything seems to be good. So with this, we have completed the head-end onboarding of Cisco Viptela SD-WAN. I hope this has been informative for you, and see you in later videos.